Hey, welcome back into today's video. Welcome back to the Rep Reports, the news that matters to you. Now, this wasn't the video that I was going to make today, but I have a couple different things I'd like to speak on. We have updates with Dahvie Vanity, Destorm Smith, and I just felt like I know this was some topics we covered a while back, but it's still important to talk about this and raise awareness as girls still come forward. We're also going to talk about the Dobrik documentary, the lies. There's a lot going on. All that and more as the Rep Reports. That's hot. There's a lot of people talking about this documentary that was created by Neistat. Originally, this documentary was supposed to be somewhat friendly towards David. It was going to talk about the rise of YouTube, just generally what it's like to do what he does. But during the making of this, several things happened, as you know. And this documentary quickly turned into something a little bit more that talked a lot about more details than I think Casey or David intended. But what it does is it exposes David and the type of person that he is. And man, it's really bad. About 7 days ago, David released a episode of Views, his podcast, titled Discussing What Happened. And within it, he talks about the situation with Jeff Wittek. So essentially what happened was Jeff was swinging from an excavator. This was said to be David's fault. He was in a severe accident that almost took his life. Jeff calls him out on his podcast, saying that David is lying.
There was a video that he found like 15 minutes before the accident that somebody posted, and he said, let's recreate this. And it was a guy swinging from an excavator and flying off. I didn't see that DM till the hospital. He jokes. He's like, I didn't mean literally, haha, like he joked. That was the first time I saw the DM. That was the first time I opened it.
Okay,
and then
stop it.
Stop
I didn't mean literally.
Yeah, I didn't mean literally. I'm sitting on the beach. I'm watching Todd wakeboard for 6 hours. I scroll down. I see 50 Cent posted the fucking same thing. So I send it to David, thinking he's in there, like, not checking his phone because he's operating this thing. And maybe he would look at it later as a joke. If you're watching something so ridiculous happen in real life, and then you see a meme of the same shit that 50 Cent posts, of course I DM it to him as a joke.
In not so many words, David's trying to blame this situation on Jeff, but Jeff is not having it.
Why are you putting that in here and blaming? Like it's like, oh, I knew this and I needed to, like I did this because Jeff asked. It was all Jeff's idea. That's it. That's where we're going. That's what this video is about. Is David saying, "Hey guys, I still don't know how to take accountability, so I'm gonna reach for any piece of information and use that against Jeff. I'm gonna play this clip, even though it means nothing. Saw it after on the deathbed. I opened it up when we were at the hospital after I already smashed his skull in and nearly killed him."
Then David says that Jeff told him not to tell people that this was his idea. And honestly, thinking about it, I don't see anybody saying anything like this. It doesn't make any sense.
That was the first time I saw the DM. That was the first time I opened it. And then he asked, he's like, can you promise me one thing? And I said, what? And he's like, can you just promise that no one ever knows that this was my idea? And I was like, absolutely. Like, that's not a big deal. And then that's the promise I broke recently.
Bro, this is complete bullshit. I swear to God.
Breno was on this, and then you hopped on.
Okay, so right now David is saying that I'm there, head smashed open like a watermelon, exploded on a hospital bed. They cut all my shit off, my chain. They give him my chain. He's the only one allowed in the hospital, so he's the only one there. My brain is hanging out of my skull. But my one last wish was, David, please don't tell anyone that this was my idea. Are you out of your mind? Are you that sick in the head? I've never once in my life said, David, I know I might die right now, but if I die, make sure nobody ever knows that I asked you to smash my head into the crane. You sick sociopath.
Obviously, that doesn't make sense. It sounds like this is something that David made up to save his career. But how do you feel? Let me know in the comment section.
Some people are going to take aim at Casey and say, why didn't he focus on more controversies, right? There was more than just the two. There was the bullying stuff. There was the racism stuff. Though Casey actually addressed that during the public Q&A, saying, hey, there is a 12-hour version of this movie, but to make something, that's around 2 hours, it's very consumable, we had to focus on two things.
So there's a short version of this documentary and a much, much longer version of this documentary. Just some of the things that I've heard is that there's one part where it talks about how they were pressuring Karina Koff to take off her shirt in a party scene, and she was expressing that she was uncomfortable, generally just things like that.
Cool visuals and funny stuff, and this is not funny unless someone gets hurt. Oh! Can you go even a little bit higher?
So there in that leaked clip, you see David orchestrating a dangerous stunt and even telling the dude to go a little bit higher and admitting that it's only funny if someone gets hurt. There's an article by Mashable written by Elizabeth D. Luna on March 12th, 2022, where it talks about some of the things that were seen in the documentary. In one part of this article, it talks about the situation with Dom, former member of the Vlog Squad, and how he allegedly assaulted a young girl when she was drunk. If you remember this situation, we covered it. I'll put the video in the pinned comment. It's specifically referring to an insider article written by Kat Tinbarge where it highlights a lot of the situation and it's very in-depth. Casey Neistat asks if the insider article was fair, and Dobrik replies, no, this article was written because this place wanted clicks. He says while sitting in a $13 million house financed by near-death stunts, a podcast named Views, and a line of clickbait merch, he seems to see this woman's account of RAPE as a pesky rumor, more harmful to him than to her. He actually is quoted saying that he didn't want to respond to the situation because he didn't, and I quote, want to feed the fire of just gossip and hate and drama. My thoughts go back to his apology video where he was crying and he was saying, well, not this stuff. He says that he's stained forever with something that he doesn't necessarily think he should be stained with. There's a lot to this situation, and I'm going to keep you updated here as more things come out, and hopefully I'll be able to see the documentary itself because I'm not 100% sure if it's out. It says the documentary has not been released to the public as Neistat is still seeking distributors to pick up the piece. So hopefully somebody like Netflix picks this up so we can actually watch this. I would really want to watch that 12-hour version. I think that would be really eye-opening, but just from the reviews of everybody that has seen it, it doesn't look like David's career is going in the direction that he had hoped. Also, in the news. So about 2 years ago, I did my own investigation on this channel into Dahvie Vanity. I had interviewed several victims of him and raised a lot of awareness. I was even in contact with an FBI agent, and any type of information that I received, I would send it over to them. And I always knew that there were more girls that had stories about this dude, and it looks like one came up recently, and I feel like it's good to keep this awareness about the situation spreading, because this dude is still trying to make a presence on the internet, as he's just recently, not too long ago, opened a TikTok. He now goes by the Dark Arts Official. He tries to change his name quite a bit. Even on YouTube, he's now the Most Vivid Nightmares, and it's really hard for me to understand why YouTube hasn't removed his presence from off the platform. Don't forget his hair's fake. It looks like because of all the awareness that has been raised in the past, the comments are at least holding him accountable. One user saying, dude, why can't you get the message that you're not wanted anywhere online? So a lot of people are aware of him, but I still feel like it's important for me to talk about this. So whenever there is news like this, or he's trying to pop up on another platform, I do want to bring it to you so you guys know what to look out for. And I think that there's still girls that are falling for this dude. If not, then I'm being trolled by an alt account. I don't know what it is, but over on the Repzilla Twitter, March 14th, I said, what is this? A Dahvie Vanity alt account. Just a reminder, this person has hundreds of alleged victims and has been arrested before, but was let go. This girl, which I do think it's an alt account, because it's like fairly new. It was created March 22nd, so it could just be a troll account. It says, y'all really need to stop judging Dahvie seriously. Y'all don't know anything about him. Those women that spoke up against him are lying. They're doing that stuff to get followers, obviously. That's really pathetic right there. Y'all need to leave that man alone. He's innocent. One user, Cass, who I interviewed about her experience with Dahvie Vanity, says in response, I gained no new following from this that I wouldn't have gained from being myself, and never speaking up about what this sick FUCK did to me. He isn't gonna like you because you're defending him. What are you trying to gain from this? So, which I'm pretty certain that it's actually an alt account, but just in case there is anybody out there that is still trying to stan him and doesn't know about this, I figured it's important to point out that he was arrested for lewd and lascivious battery, which is penetration of a child between the ages of 12 and 15 by an adult, for which Torres was briefly investigated, is a form of statutory rape and a felony punishable up to 15 years in prison. Ignorance of the victim's age is not admissible defense under Florida law, and 14-year-olds cannot legally consent to sex with 22-year-olds in the state. But police let Torres off anyway, and the reason was because victim refuses cooperation with prosecution. The police report concluded, case closed. So in this specific situation, the mother did not want to cooperate so long as Jesus David Torres, Dahvie Vanity, no longer contacted the daughter. But that doesn't mean that this did not happen. About 6 days ago on the Chris Hansen YouTube channel, there was a girl named Lauren Donnelly. And she actually spoke up about her experience, and I hated that she went through this. So, Lauren, I am sorry. But it's interesting because she met Dahvie in Georgia, and Georgia is where I'm from. So, I figured it's important to cover this still, and I'm going to talk more about that in a second.
I remember like being in the audience, and he comes down, and I don't know if it was, I think the first time. Well, I know how we met was I had my phone. He took out of my hand. He like sung to me for a second on the stage, and he was there in front of me, and he had like this like onesie thing on, and he was like, "Is this your phone?" I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, he like took it, and he put his number in there, and then like shortly after that first show, the first concert, he was texting me, and he just seemed like he wanted to hang out after, and I was like, well, there's no way, like my dad's taking me home. And so I knew like nothing was coming out of it, but I was like, well, I'll keep this contact in here. And he ended up just like kept texting me. And I mean, this was 7 years ago at the same time. Like I just remember being like, wow, he's texting me. Like, and I just remember being in the car like, okay. And he was like probably like the first rock star I had ever met, or music professional really, that I was like, that's really cool. And I thought I was really special because of it.
And you were 13 at the time, Lauren.
Yep, just about turned 14.
So if you've watched my previous videos on this guy, the MO is pretty much the same, and I hated to hear it, but I still feel like Lauren's words need to be heard.
And then he comes over to the couch, and then he directly like leans me into basically like oral sex. So that was the first time, and I was like, wow, that's intense. And I thought that was maybe like a normal thing because I'm growing up, but yet it was not. Like even just as I gone through, and I have friends that are his age.
Just to be clear, Lauren, you were 14 at the time.
Yes.
And he coerced you into having oral sex.
Yes.
There on the couch, right before he was going to go on stage.
Quickly.
I think at this point we all know who this dude is, and still he's able to just walk around and just like nothing happened, and that bothers me. So I think at this point, with everything that's been going on and the information that's out there, if it's good to just keep tabs and keep people aware of him, so people know what to watch out for. And he's not the only person like this. We have an update on. We have Destorm Smith. I actually first saw this from YouTuber Papa Gut. Destorm Smith, new allegations. So this TikToker's name is Cassie Dakota, and she, look at that cat. You see that cat? That's a palate cleanser if I've ever seen one. She released 2 TikToks talking about this situation. The first with 235.4 thousand views. It starts off by saying, 15-year-old me on my birthday excited to call my favorite famous YouTuber who I became friends with on Skype, which is one of this dude's MOs. And then it switches to another scene that says he was grooming me into showing him my underage body, which is absolutely disgusting. One user says, oh my God, who? I'm so sorry. In her follow-up story time, she explains,
we're gonna get this over and done with in one video, no rambling, no, oh my God, I didn't expect this to blow up. We're gonna get to the point. So the YouTuber that I had the very tragic experience with is Destorm Smith. Destiny, Captain Destes, whatever you know him by. It was him. Now please keep in mind this did happen to me about 10 years ago when I was 15. I am 25 now, just by how I look. The main things that I can remember was when I was around 13, 14, I was really getting into watching YouTubers and loving YouTubers and just kind of being obsessed with them, as you do when you're a young teenager. So that's how I found Destery, and I would watch all of his YouTube videos, interact with all of his tweets, whatever on social media, and he even inspired me to start making YouTube videos myself, so that was a thing. After a little while, I started getting noticed by him, so he would like my tweets or respond to them, and I don't know what happened, but somehow I ended up getting his Skype and we would start messaging each other on there. At first, there were no red flags. It was kind of fine. I felt like I was becoming friends with this YouTuber that I looked up to and loved, and everything was fine. After a while, he started getting a little bit flirty with me in his messages, saying things like, I really want to hug you, I would kiss you, you know, if I met you in the airport, I would kiss you right away, like things like that. And as a young, impressionable teen, you don't think much of it. But when you are his age at the time, which would have been in his 20s, talking to somebody who is 13, 14 years old, saying these kinds of things, that is so wrong. So things kind of kept going like that for a while. Nothing really escalated or anything like that until my 15th birthday. Being my birthday and all, I was really hoping that I would be able to video call him, since we never did that before, and that is obviously a thing that you can do on Skype. So I remember messaging him saying, hi, it's my 15th birthday. I would really like to video call you. Like, what do you think about that? And all I remember is him saying, yeah, sure, we can, but only if you do it topless, because I would like to see you topless. After that, my red flags were going off. I was so uncomfortable. I knew that there was something wrong about this deep down. I didn't quite understand the severity of it until I was older. After that, he pretty much ghosted me and never spoke to me again. So that's my story time. Hope you enjoyed it. Side note, I was also messaging Nathan from Destiny on Skype throughout all this happening as well, but he never showed predatory behavior, so this entire story time is just about Destery. If you have also been a victim to Destery or any other YouTubers' predatory behavior, I'm so sorry. I hope you have healed from that trauma, and people like this do not deserve to have a platform.
I absolutely 100% agree, and it's all within the MO, and I'm really surprised at one comment that says, not Destery, what? And if you're unfamiliar with this situation, I did cover this extensively, and I did an interview with his former friends. I'm going to put these two videos in the pinned comment, and you can click this link right here above. And going back to Cassie, I do want to say I'm so sorry that this happened to you. I'm so sorry to you as well, Lauren. These types of people don't deserve a platform. They don't deserve to be on the internet. They need to be locked up, if not worse. That was a lot in today's Rep Reports, but as interesting as this is always something that's more interesting to me, that's right, you guessed it. I want to know what you think. So why don't you go ahead and leave your creative or interesting responses in the comment box below. Thumbs up for those likes. As always, brothers and sisters, I will see you in the next video. So the camera cut off, and I don't know where it cut off, but again, I guess I'm confused with the outro. I don't know what to do, since the majority of it was just, it wasn't just my thoughts. It was also like, you know, if you're not repping your Greggin, and Greg's passed away now, Greg the cat, and though he will forever live on, Greg will live forever. He's a big part of me and a big part of this channel. I don't know what I should do in the outro now. I do want to thank my patrons. If you want to become a patron and support what I do here on this channel and get your name into my videos, I'll put the patron link in the pinned comment. If you have a topic for me, then you can tweet at me or just let me know below as well. Put a like on the video, and if you have any ideas of what I should do in this outro, then let me know, and maybe I'll take your opinion or your suggestion. Just don't forget that this channel loves you.